is there. My mother says, oh, do you remember that pamphlet? So the person who wrote it, F.J.G. Comeau, who was involved in, again, the working of the creation of Grand Pré, his archives are there, his personal archives. So I go to the Acadian Center and I start digging through these archives, and I find 100 years ago, F.J.G. Comeau was looking to prove the history of this apple. He was a person living in Halifax at the time, and he wanted to put as much information as he could about this Belleville apple and about Acadians in general to the rest of the English-speaking province. And he wanted not just to talk about it, he wanted to prove it. Here is the definitive proof that this matters. This is the quantifying, qualifying way of defining this. And 100 years ago, in his notes, I see correspondence with historians, agronomists, agriculturalists, and farmers. Here's the history of it. Here it is. And it was one of those things of, I didn't know this was possible. I didn't know that my ancestor was doing the same work that I'm doing 100 years later. And so here's what we know. The apple finds its source in Belleville Cove around 1770, 1768 by Marie Modeste Belleville, who was born in Lebanon. She and her husband walked to St. Mary's Bay on the southwestern shore through Port Royal and picked up either an apple or a scion of a tree from her father's orchard in what is now the Annapolis Royal Historic Gardens. And that tree became fundamental to the eating habits of the Acadians for 150 years. The tree, the son of Mr. Belleville, his name was Frederick, he was known as Tikin, he built a home in Church Point, planted a tree. That tree had Bellevilles. That tree still exists. That tree is nearly 200 years old. It still bears fruit. I ate apples from it this summer. This was a tree that I walked by every single day of my childhood and into my young adulthood, and had no idea that there was a living time capsule right in front of my face the whole time. So we did all this research, and my co-researcher Karen and I went to Oxford University, went to the Oxford Symposium on Food, and we told them stories. We told them the story of the Acadians. We told them about how the Acadians are responsible for the cultivation of apples in Nova Scotia. We talked about F.J.G. Comeau. We told them about the Belleville apple. We told them that we as a people are learning more and more how to communicate who we are by what we eat. And that's what matters to me about food. Here's a way to use a language. Here's a way to create a language about ourselves that we get to expand into the present and the future. The story itself expands. The story is continuing to expand. I'm having the apple being genetically tested next year. It's already been genetically tested. Funny anecdote. My book comes out, I mentioned the Belleville. And I actually gave a couple scions to Ted Hutton, who's up in Lakeville. And then I get a mail from someone that says, hey, I heard about the Belleville, I'd like to get some grafts. Can you get some? So I put him in contact with my dad. This is like 7 years ago. I never think about it again. Well, what turned out is that that person lives in La Have and had given scions of his scions to someone in Ontario. The person in Ontario had it genetically tested. It is a completely unique variety unknown to any genetic testing in North America. We don't know what its parentage is yet. We're going to try and find out. In digging through the research materials and the archives of my great ancestor, F.J.G. Comeau, I found so much correspondence. And if I was not related to that gentleman, I would have not have known that there was this research which was pivotal to what I wanted. If I did not have that family connection, I would not have been able to access or know where to dig. It could have easily been forgotten. So I'm actually planning this spring to take all the original archival documents and scan them and put them up on a website. Why? Because even though I work as a journalist, journalism is often extractive. You go, you take, and then you print this into the story. I am interested in making sure that people have as much access to the information that I am able to find as anybody else can. I don't believe in holding on to information or this is mine. No, because you never know what's going to come out of it. I'm interested in creating and fostering more dialogue. And food is the easiest way. We're all sitting here sipping tea and coffee, and there are so many thousands of stories that can be told. From simple nostalgic grandma ones to questions of ethics, economics. It goes on. And I never thought I would be here talking about an apple of a tree that I walked in front of my whole life. I didn't know what stories were available to me to talk about my culture, and let alone about the food that we eat every day. Thank you.